Good morning. This is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. PsychicTarot.ca, book your tarot reading and unlock your spiritual journey. And the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids and cubs, and welcome to Season 5 and episode number 878 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. Oh, Canada, always 100% Canadian. Today, recording day is Monday, April 6, 2026, and it is a gray day here at the Beaver Lodge, as one would expect on Easter weekend. A lot of gray. I am your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, A, and with me, as usual, this way, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. Put your paws up. Yay. A big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and PsychicTarot.ca. A bit like old times. Not sure I know how to drive this car with two passengers in it, but let's see if we can still do that. Mr. Grizzly, how is your mental health today, sir?
All things being equal, I'd say it's pretty good, actually. Other than the fact that I woke up with a splitting headache, I had a brutal allergy episode last night, I guess you could say. I don't know what happened. I was at dinner with the family at my mom and dad's place, and was finishing dinner, and I got really like a terrible headache and lightheaded and dizzy, and I was like, I have to go lie down. So I lied down for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then my mom gave me some allergy medication, and that helped. So I'm wondering if it was, I had some carrots with dinner, and I don't eat carrots very often. But you know, when you're at your folks' place and they place food in front of you, you eat everything, right? So and my family knows that I'm not a carrot fan, never have been, and I rarely eat them. And my sister has developed an allergy towards them, so I'm thinking like, well, maybe that's what it was, because I was just flattened. And then ended up, I got home, took Lola out, came back and lied down on the couch with a terrible migraine and woke up with one. So I don't know. But my mental health is good.
Okay.
My attitude is good. I'm not hating myself today, and I'm not feeling in any despair. Now, it's early in the morning, and I did sleep in till 6.
You can give the day time to do its thing.
Exactly. You know, I haven't had anything to knock me off my pedestal yet, so give it a couple hours.
Well, I do not intend to do that, my good friend. I'm doing fairly well as well. The show went very well. We were worried a couple of weeks ago because of ticket sales. We were wondering if the fundraiser would actually make money. Ticket sales did pick up over the last 2 weeks. So not full audiences, but full enough that it felt that we were performing, you know, to a mostly full audience. And, you know, if people were getting into it, we could hear them because, you know, it was sort of like this sing-along thing. We want people to sing with us. And some people did come on stage with songs of their own, which was good. We were hoping that would happen, and people were brave enough to do it because it's a little different than regular karaoke where you're just at the bar, right? I mean, it's actual stage with lights and, you know, people are sitting in seats. So that could be a little more nerve-wracking. But people came up and did it. And then on the Saturday night, of course, Saturday afternoon, we did a specifically Disney-themed show. All the songs were Disney except for one, and I'll give you one guess what that song would be if we're doing a show for kids.
non-Disney related?
Still animated film, though.
Something from a Pixar family? I don't know. Pixar is Disney now too, isn't it?
Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, I don't.
We had to do that
about
one.
that. I don't know anything about that.
Okay, I think it won the Oscar this year as well for best song from a movie. But yeah, we had to
Canadian
do
film
that.
too. I know that.
Yes. So yeah, because there would have been a riot apparently had we not done Golden. And
Never heard it.
if you thought that everybody got up and sang for "Let It Go" from Frozen, you should have heard the yell of approval from the kids when
Really?
they heard the first bars of Golden.
Okay.
It's
I'll have
like
to
it
check
being-
it out then.
It's the closest I've been to being at a Beatles concert in the 60s.
Wow. You say, you were saying earlier how you were worried about ticket sales and, people going to show up. It reminds me of the old adage from, of all people, Gene Simmons from Kiss, who said many, many, many years ago, and I've always tried to live my life by this adage, if you will, especially when I was working as a DJ. Whether you're playing to one person, 100 people, or 100,000 people, your performance shouldn't change with the crowd. It should always be 100%, leave everything on the stage. And he did say, yes, I get it. Playing to one person, you're not getting a lot of energy back. And to 100,000 people, it's unbelievable. But always give it your all, and it will be appreciated. It will be remembered, and people will, even if it's just one person, will walk away having a changed moment from that performance.
Right.
And will remember it and tell all their friends.
Right.
You know, it's like sales, the old adage. Listen to me with old adages in sales. A happy customer will tell 2 people. An unhappy customer will tell everybody they freaking know.
Yeah.
It used to be 10 people, but that was before the internet.
Yes, exactly. That's true.
So now we like to go on whatever social media and tell the planet about the terrible service we received at Billy's Donut Shop. Yes, clutching the pearls. Full Karening. Was the Karening.
Like that as a verb, Karening.
What is it for fellas? Chatting? I don't know.
Karening intensified.
Chad is an incel thing, isn't it? A Chad?
Chad, yes.
What is that is it a bad thing or I don't know.
I think so, yeah. When they say don't be a Chad, yeah.
All I know is no cap. And I don't even know what that means. I know Riz is short for charisma.
Yeah.
You've got all the Riz. And I hear no cap all the time, but I don't know what it means. And I'm not even going to bother to look it up.
Okay.
And he says, well, you should look it up. You're on the internet. Yeah, I know I'm on the internet, but I don't want to look it up. I don't care. I'm going to be 58 soon. I shouldn't be using that terminology in my everyday vernacular because I'll look like an idiot who's trying too hard to be something I'm not. 20.
For shiz.
Right? You know what? You know that, remember my nizzle?
Yes.
Change the Z to G's.
Yes.
And change the L-E to E-R. That's what it meant.
I didn't add the nizzle there for for very strategic reasons.
I'm like, what? I have a buddy who always used to say, my ninja.
My ninja.
And I said, that's kind of interesting. He goes, well, think of it 2 ways. It sounds similar, number 1, and he's black. He says, but number 2, what do ninjas wear? All black. Okay, there's levels to that one.
There's levels to that one. So yeah, the show went well, and I met my godparents.
Oh,
this weekend.
You didn't know them, or?
Nope, I did not.
Oh,
I did not know them. I learned a little bit more about my mom and my dad.
Oh, cool.
Over the course of the weekend, what they were like, before I was born, when I was very, very, very young and had no memories of anything.
Mm-hmm. You were
so that was nice. But yeah. But apparently, they had been looking for me for a very, very long time, and they put out something on Facebook last year, I think around this time, April, stating, it's like, okay, I'm giving this one last chance. And about 2 days after it was sent, some lady from my curling club saw it and forwarded it to me. And then I sat on it for a few months actually
Mhm.
because I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to open that door.
Pandora's box, right?
Well, yeah, and when people are looking for you and I mean, I knew their names, so I knew it
Right.
was them, but you don't know anything about them. I'd never seen them in my
You're going
conscious
in to
life.
the meeting like this, right?
Well, it's like, it is 2026,
Mhm.
why are you seeking me out?
Yeah.
Right? It's a bit of an interesting thing. But we had some conversations, and they said that they were coming to the area for the weekend. So they came in and took in the show on Friday, and we had uh, sorry, on Friday or on Saturday? Yes, on Friday, took on the show, and then we went out for a drink and, a little bit of nosh, and then they came and picked me up after the Saturday show for the kids, and then we went out and had, like, an actual proper dinner and sat there and gabbed. They are the sweetest.
Well, that's good. I'm
They
glad
are
to hear that.
everything you would hope that people who have been looking for people for several
Right.
decades would be once you find them.
They weren't looking for money or
No,
nothing
no,
like that.
and just you know you would assume that someone who's very much looking for someone,
Mhm.
right, that is
Oftentimes
someone
that
that's
is the
very
case.
loving and caring and, very, family means a lot to them, and, "Oh, we've lost one of the fold. We need to find them. We need to bring them back." That type of thing, right? And that their heart is in the good place and all those good th they're exactly those kind of people.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Good to know, good
Just
to
they're
hear. I'm
just
happy for you, man. I'm happy
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, just sweetness. So yeah, we will be seeing each other again. So Linda, Camille, bonjour, merci.
Where
And
what part of the country are they in?
Saint Eustache, just outside Montreal.
Yeah, I know the area. Yeah.
Yeah. They met Alex on Saturday, Friday.
Mhm.
Thought he was adorable. Of course, everybody
Well,
thinks he's adorable.
'cause he is.
Alex went out to visit his family for the rest of Easter weekend, so I am homo alone. Ah!
Okay, that was funny.
Um,
At all. Homo Alone.
it would be a great movie.
Yeah, yeah. It's gotta put an extra lilt and lisp into the
Now get into my house, bitch.
mhm, the southern drawl sort of thing.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, be funny.
So yeah, just wonderful people. Yeah, kind of weird though. Again,
Mhm.
after all these years, I mean, godparents are technically not family, right? That's not biological or
Right,
anything.
right.
And again, we haven't played a role in each other's lives, but all of a sudden, there's this elderly couple out there that have been looking for me, and it's, oh my god, I can't wait till the next time. Next time you have to come to our place, we'll make dinner. You can meet all our family, and like that. So it's like I made me lose acquired to the very attached to the concept of I don't really have much family.
Mhm, mm.
Might be acquiring even more, and I've got a lot with Alex's now
Yeah,
after
suddenly it's
13
like,
years,
"Hey."
and people keep on getting married and making more people. So so the family keeps getting bigger. When I started out, there were 3 fewer.
Oh, wow.
Then somebody got married, and then they had 2 kids. So it's just like, more birthdays." So, yeah, but, yeah, it was just an absolutely, wonderful moment. She is, gregarious and effusive. He is a little more quiet, uh, but definitely not in a box. Uh, they both love to tease. They both love to tease each other. They've been married for 52 years.
Oh, my.
Um, they are, I won't go into share too much about their family history, but, they told us a little bit about their kids,
Mhm.
and it is no wonder that they are the sweetest people. Um, there have been some challenges and things. Um, they're just no problem with the fact that I'm gay at all.
Well, that's good.
Um, just like I said, just beautiful, 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 warm people. So, and often that thing that happens when a husband and wife are talking about something or they're telling a story like this, and one person starts and the other person like jumps in because they're not telling it right, or I tell it better, or like always correcting. They don't do that. Every time they cut each other off, it's to, like, to add a layer,
Mhm.
and they build on what each other says instead of like opposing or fight. They have a really nice dynamic together.
Okay.
It's kind of cute. So, but yeah, she talks more, he talks less, as one would expect, with an older couple, that type of thing like this. But he's not he's not the stoic.
That you expected?
Yeah, not the stoic older gentleman like this. You can tell, I guess, just when he's talking like this that he's just that he's a big softy.
Okay.
Yeah, you get that? Like this, he can present that exterior, but you can tell that he's a big softy. And it was just, when they were, I hate to call it like, but when you go on when you're going on a date and you don't know someone very much, but you know a little bit about them, and you're excited about the little bit that you do know, like
Right.
this, and you're sitting at that date, and it's almost like half your some of your vibe is sort of like half expectant puppy. It's like,
Okay.
"Oh, I'm very interested in this. I hope he likes me. I hope he likes me. I really hope he likes that type of thing."
Mhm, mhm.
I had that vibe sort of coming from them. "Oh my god, I hope he likes this. I really hope he likes it." It's like, "Yeah, you guys are good. Don't worry."
We're solid. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, there's nothing
Yeah,
about
that's
you
sort
not
of nervous, anxious energy, right?
right, right. So that was kinda cute too, because I mean, it's been a while since I've been on the other side of that. So so yeah, it was, like I said, just a beautiful, wonderful weekend, and, turns out that, reaching out and replying, at least first impressions, was not a bad idea.
Okay.
So there you go. Yeah.
Awesome.
Alright. Uh, I need to ask you stuff,
Okay.
my friend, because we haven't had you on the show, and, um, well, I like your takes on I like to hear your takes on things. The one I was gonna say for last, because you told me I don't have you for the whole show because you're gonna have to take Miss Lola out.
Yeah, she's yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna save the best for last, but I'll start off with it. Um, as you know, kids and cubs, if you've been watching the show, especially for a while, especially when we were doing it together every morning, Mr. Grizzly doesn't have the highest opinion, Mr. Poilievre.
No.
If you just joined us recently. Okay. Just a little context. Um, remember that article I read to you? I think it was last October, November. Uh,
Mm,
or was it before that? No, maybe before that. Yeah, sorry, during the election period, about Pierre Poilievre having really, really tight control of his caucus. That the
mhm.
staffers were monitoring everyone. They were seeing if they were like fraternizing or hanging out with liberals, and if they did that, it was no, no, no. And if they said anything that went against the party thing, then they would lose speaking time and question privileges and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then after the election, we heard that in some of the feedback, they were really upset with how the conservatives were um, earmarking certain people for certain ridings, and they limited it down to eight seats that the conservative leadership could say we're going to parachute a candidate in, because the local ridings didn't like that behavior either. Just Pierre was walking and saying, "I'm going to tell you how it's going to work around here now," type thing.
Rather
Well,
dictatorial of him.
and then, of course, he went into the election and he blew a 26-point lead and then lost his seat and then asked Canadians to expend what we now know is, based on reports, $2.3 million for him to be able to get a second shot at a seat, which he achieved getting that seat available through a dirty backroom deal, which he says he does not like when there are road crossings going to the Liberals' way. But it's okay if somebody has to vacate a seat to make it available for him. And then he got his seat, and then he was preoccupied immediately with that leadership run, and apparently at that time calling people in one by one, coming in and having these social meetings with them, working the crowd of delegates that were handpicked and hand chosen,
Yeah,
and
1800 or something?
yes, and according to word on the tweet, a lot of people had to pledge that they would vote for him before they got chosen as delegate, even though the Conservative Party denies it. But all these little things of control, and then sometimes being a little nice, but then more control.
Mhm.
And then over the last 2 weeks, Pierre has been doing sort of his 187,264th makeover,
Yes.
where he's gone on podcasts and done a little European tour and did a little US tour. And it's like, hey, Canada, look, I can Carney too. And going on Joe Rogan, and then making those things, saying those things that we would expect anybody to say, like, I will not attack our prime minister on foreign soil,
foreign
and
soil.
expecting to get a cookie for it. But then we're thinking, okay, there's a brand new Pierre, maybe.
I knew better.
Then on April 3rd came this that I'm going to read to you, and I wish I had a counter to see how many fucks or something like that you were going to do. But it would appear that the Joe Rogan Pierre, or the Pierre that was on that other podcast that was talked about this week in Diary of a CEO, that some people are saying are an American podcast. I don't know if it's an American podcast or a British one, because the guy hosting is definitely British, but it could still be an American podcast if it's hosted on an American network and started there. Whatever. Where I believe you pointed out in one of your growls over the course of the weekend that Pierre revealed a third or fourth reason why he entered politics. When he was being interviewed by Andrew Lawton for the book, it was because Pierre had asthma.
Mhm.
And then on the Joe Rogan, it's because he was a wrestler and did something to his shoulder. And now on this Diary of a CEO, well, it has some football injury that made it such that he got into politics. And I am just wondering that since, it was a wrestling thing and Joe Rogan is a fighter and Pierre Poilievre did that weird mirroring thing, I'm just wondering if the host of the Diary of a CEO happened to have been a football player at some point, or whether Andrew Lawton himself also has asthma.
You got to wonder if he adjusts for each interview, because it's each time he changes his story about why he got into politics.
Yes. So that's coming out, and that's drawing a little attention. But there's this here from Althea Raj that indicates that the old Pierre might be back and using his usual charm within his own party. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is shuffling his deck, sending Elon Musk-style letters to his shadow ministers asking them to prove their worth. Looking at Mr. Grizzly. Okay, you got the smirk. Monday's email was referred to by one conservative as Doge-like, a reference to Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, which sent emails to U.S. federal government workers last year demanding that they list their past week's accomplishments or resign. This email from Poilievre. Pardon?
I took a whiskey drink. I took a lager drink.
Yes.
Those are the five.
Yes. This email from Poilievre's office was met with a shrug by some, but others saw it as insulting and further proof that their leader is out of touch with his caucus. Quote, "It's ridiculous," said one MP among several granted anonymity to speak candidly about internal party affairs. "There's a lot of malcontents. Pierre has 2 good weeks in a year, and he's back to default mode of prove yourself every 5 minutes," said another MP. "If you're going to do a shuffle, just do one. Don't play this stupid game." The email to conservative shadow ministers asked them to give examples of their best social media posts, media interviews, and examples of how they have public reach in their portfolios. It also asked if they were still interested in remaining in their roles. For those who aren't among Pierre's favorite few, the need to showcase media interviews they weren't given permission to give was seen as particularly bewildering. Even those who don't believe they'll be shuffled were annoyed by the exercise and the message it sent. Could you imagine? It's like, I would like to give this interview. No, you can't. I would like to give this interview. No, you can't. And then you get this email. Show us clips from the interviews you've given. What? The ones you won't let me do?
You've lassoed me and tied me up like a hog and put me in the corner. And now you're asking what I said and did when you wouldn't let me say or do anything. Need I remind Pierre? They don't work for you. They're members of parliament that represent the constituency in which they were elected. They represent their constituents. They do not work for you.
And the fact that you think
he fails to realize that he is a public servant.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to represent the folks in Battle River Crowfoot, which he's not set foot in since he got elected, which is not a big surprise because
some people are saying he's now spent more time in the United States than he's spent in Battle River Crowfoot.
I believe that to be true.
All right. And if maybe Pierre realized that, the other MPs in his caucus don't work for him, maybe there wouldn't have been 3 who have left already. Just saying.
I heard a rumor on the weekend.
Yeah.
That there may be up to 10 more floor crossers. Again, a rumor.
Well, it's not just a rumor. I mean, I guess it could be a rumor, but it's not just a rumor because if I am not mistaken, I believe it was Mr. Fife the Knife himself who stated that on one of the political shows over the course of the weekend. No, not Fife the Knife. Sorry, my mistake. It was Joël Denis Bellavance from La Presse, and I happen to have that right here. So why not take a little look at it? There are kits and cubs. It was on CTV's Question Period over the course of the weekend.
A cup of tea in Terrebonne.
Yeah, exactly. Quite a few cups. Do you agree with the assessment around the election?
Yes, Mr. Carney does not want an election, but also he's got some key people talking to opposition parties. I'm told up to 10 MPs are still in discussion with Liberal delegates from Mr. Carney's office. So there's still discussion going on. So they're still hoping to get more of opposition MPs from the Conservative Party or even the NDP, not the Bloc Québécois, I don't think, but it's still a possibility that more may cross the floor to join the Liberal camps. So.
And what do you think the odds there will be more that are going to be crossing the floor to Liberal camps if those 3 by-elections happen to go the Liberals' way?
Well, and of course, he's doing more backroom deals. But when somebody crossed the floor from the Liberals to the Conservatives, that was a brave thing that they did, an honorable and brave thing.
Yeah, I think that was Leona Alislev, right?
Yes. Honorable and now, brave. Of course, they're calling. We want to have by-elections when that happens. You voted against that. When it benefits you, you vote against it.
Pierre Poilievre voted against it twice.
Yes.
Once in committee, when Harper was putting the Accountability Act together. Read that in Mark Brewery's book, Ripper. And apparently he was the vote on committee that made it such that little clause did not get into the Accountability Act. And then later on, I think there was a bill that was actually proposed, a private member's bill or a motion or something of the sort. And in the House of Commons, he voted against that. Oh, the irony.
It's the flip-flopping. We're for high-speed rail. I'm going to cancel the high-speed rail. We have to protect people's land. We're going to ram through a pipeline, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry. What? How are you able to? Simone Biles would back out of the mental gymnastics on that shit.
Yep.
I'm like, come on, man.
Yep. Hopefully I'll have a little clip of that later, but there's a clip of Andrew Scheer trying to explain all of a sudden why it is that expropriating property for a rail line is bad, but expropriating property for a pipeline is good.
Well, and if memory serves, I think if they use the Peterborough route that was suggested, there's almost zero appropriation that has to be done in that method. Because there's already there was already like an existing right of way, if memory serves. I could be completely wrong about this now.
Okay, yeah, that I could not comment on. But
I might be way off base on this, but I recall reading something to that effect. Maybe I'm mixing it up with something else. It's entirely possible. So don't take that as word. But if memory serves, and my memory's not as good as it once was because I've had a lot of concussions. There is a right of way in the Peterborough route, and the possibility of expropriation of any type of land in that route is a lot less than if they followed along the 401. And I understand, there's a lot of folks that are going, well, Brockville needs to stop, and so does Kingston. And I'm like, how's it going to be high speed if we're stopping every 10 minutes? The point of high speed is to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. So Toronto to Peterborough to Ottawa. Now, a lot of people are upset by that because you're bypassing Kingston. And I get it. But how long does it take to get from Kingston to Ottawa on a bus right now?
2 hours.
And how long does it take to get from Toronto to Ottawa on a train right now?
You can get there just under 4 on some days.
Correct.
Some
days. But it's inconsistent because of
yes.
There's oftentimes you literally have to pull over. And no, it's not the side of the road. There's a separate track you pull onto while the freight train goes by.
Yep.
And those freight trains can be several kilometers long.
Yep.
And they don't move fast.
Nope.
I've had 45-minute delays. That trying to get from Toronto to Ottawa. Whatever, you figure it out. You go for it. You take your trip. And I had a conversation with somebody the other day who said, well, it would be better if we built a high-frequency rail line from Toronto to Ottawa that VIA had their own tracks. And I go, okay, but it's 2026. Why are you using old technology? We can build the new line for high-speed rail so that it's here for the next century plus. And they just, well, it's too much money. But you want to build a new line, but you don't want to make it high speed. So you want to live in the 19th century when the rest of us are here in the 21st going, come on, man, look at Europe, look at China, look at Japan, look at the rest of the world that's building high speed. Is it expensive? Yeah, it is. Is it worthwhile? You're damn right it is. Because we're building it for a century plus. There are train trestle bridges in BC that are over 150 years old.
Yeah.
And they still use them.
Yep. And I can remember hearing Pierre talking in one of his responses or whatnot, like, we did the Trans-Canada Railway in about 4 years. There was no big problems. We didn't have all that stuff. Yeah, except for the 4,000 people who died.
Yes, the almost slave labor that was used to build it.
But other than that, no problem whatsoever.
No problems whatsoever, yeah.
Taking a couple extra months to think about it and plan it out might have, could have helped. Wouldn't have been useful at all back then.
Yeah, they looked at the Chinese as expendable. Here, take this dynamite, go in there, put it in the hole. Oh, we lost another one.
Well, next
5 more.
Pretty much.
That's what took place.
Yeah.
They used to have a saying, I don't know if I should say it because it didn't have a certain man's chance is what they used to say. It's not super, I wouldn't say that it's super racist, but it's
up there.
Yeah, but anyway.
It's in there. Yeah, but a
certain man's chance.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Yeah, from a specific nation. Starts with chi, ends in Ina. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. I'll get back to this article because...
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I wondered too. So then it says here, for those who aren't among Pierre Poilievre's favorite few, the need to showcase media interviews they weren't given permission to give was seen as particularly bewildering. Even those who don't believe they'll be shuffled were annoyed by the exercise and the message it sent. It's the latest expression of frustration from Poilievre's caucus. Since January's convention in Calgary, which was intended to settle the leadership question, Poilievre received 87.4% of delegate support. The mood internally is bleak, described by several as, quote, dispirited. Many Tory MPs have concluded their leader will never win, that he cannot offer an alternative proposal to the one Canadians already rejected. Quote, how much time and effort do you put into a leader who can't win? Asked a third MP. They've got no, concluded another caucus member. Conservative MPs are tired of sitting in the opposition benches. Some feel their contributions aren't valued. Others feel Poilievre is too focused on courting a constituency already in the Tory fold, young men, and not doing enough to court older voters lost to Liberals. Poll after poll suggests Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberals have a strong double-digit lead over Poilievre's Conservatives in public support. If an election were held today, the Grits would likely win seats in Edmonton, Calgary, Regina, and Saskatoon. They'd win more in Winnipeg and likely in southwestern Ontario. Within caucus, some Conservators, namely those in safe seats, hoped Carney would call a spring election that their party loss would accelerate the replacement of their unpopular leader. And that's despite the fact that they have the Reform Act that they could convoke at any time. Instead, it looks like Carney will govern with a slim majority after by-elections on April 13th. While Poilievre prepares to shuffle his team, Carney is expected to do the same. Dr. Danielle Martin, who is running in University Rosedale, is widely expected to join the cabinet, while weak ministers, such as Immigration Minister Lina Diab, will be shown the door. Cabinet shuffle talk may also be spurring discussions between Carney's team and Conservative MPs. Two-way outreach continues, and more floor crossers are likely. Within the Conservative caucus, reality has dawned that it is stuck with its leader. Without leadership contenders loudly waiting in the wings, there's little reason to organize a putsch and force a caucus vote on Poilievre's leadership. Conservative MPs adopted rules last year that allowed 20% of caucus, 29 MPs out of 141, to trigger a leadership review, but it's far from clear the malcontents would win. Poilievre doesn't want to leave. He would fight and remains popular with the base. Nobody wants to be publicly outed for taking a shot at the leader and missing. Among those lukewarm to a coup, some still hope the shakeup includes Poilievre's senior leadership team, while others worry about internal backlash should newbie MPs be given prominent roles at the expense of those patiently waiting in the wings. One lesson the Conservatives took from last year's election loss was that too much attention was focused on Poilievre and his combative personality, and not enough attention was placed on the team around him that could smooth out his rough edges. The party is now trying to cast him in a new light. A podcast interview Thursday with the Diary of a CEO host, Stephen Bartlett, added more layers to Poilievre's story. Yes, conflicting layers as well.
Yes.
With emotional details about his relationship with his parents and nonverbal autistic daughter. But what the interview also made clear is that Poilievre won't be adjusting his principal message. What he's playing for instead is time for Carney to flop, and for Poilievre's message that the working class is poor because of inflation causing government spending and a lack of private sector investment in natural resource projects to resonate. Also time for the full impacts of the increased inflation, particularly on food and fuel, coming from Trump's war on Iran to take hold, and then he can point to everything, say everything's failing, and it's Carney's fault.
I saw him release a stat the other day that was, it said, what are the percentage of Canadians that believe or think that crime is rising? It showed a stat of 62%. It showed how over the years it was this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, that's very misleading. What people believe and what are facts are two entirely different things. Crime is actually dropping across the country in all of the major cities. You may believe that it's rising, but it's not. So here he is presenting information which is speculative out of people's imagination as fact. I don't care if you believe it's rising when the facts say otherwise. But he wants to present it as it's crime everywhere and everything is terrible.
Right. Right. Now, I'm reading this article. And the first thought through my head is, wait, what? You blew the lead? You lost your seat? You had to have your leadership reconfirmed? You've had to try on 100,000 makeovers, and you want me to prove my worth to you?
That's typical narcissism. It's not me, it's everybody else. That's the problem. He's a narcissist.
I mean, is this like living at the intersection of zero self-awareness and just his usually dickish personality?
Prove yourself to me. My response would be, up yours. I need to prove myself to my constituents, the ones who put me here. You didn't put me here. This guy thinks he's a king. He's a public servant. He needs to be reminded of that. But he's a narcissist, so no matter what you tell him, he's going to believe what he wants to believe.
Right.
Now, I got to ask if there's a single person in that party that has a backbone, because I don't think there is. Maybe the ones who are brave enough to cross the floor might come out and say what they're thinking, but nobody's willing to say it right now for, what was it in the article? Something about for fear of backlash?
Mhm.
Like, but you're not there for him. Your job is to represent your constituency. And remember when members of his party went to Sean, the former Minister of Housing?
Sean Fraser.
Fraser, thank you. Sean Fraser asking for money for the municipalities
From the Housing Accelerator Fund.
Accelerator, that's it. Thank you. Asking for money from the Housing Accelerator Fund for the certain municipalities in their constituency so that they could, improve the infrastructure to get houses built. There was like 5 or 6 of them that went to Sean Fraser. You do not ask the Liberals for help. Asshole. They're asking for help for their constituents.
They're asking the government for help.
That's it. The government of Canada. They were doing their job, their actual job for their constituents, the ones who put them there.
Right.
Don't do that. It looks like you're asking for help from the Liberals. No, we went to the government of Canada to get funds that were set aside for this specific reason to help the people in our communities who put us here to help them in our communities. Like, oh my God. He does not want to govern. He wants to rule over you. This is just another example of that. And how are people not able to see these things? It's beyond me.
It's right out there in the open.
It's, yeah.
Well, they keep on saying that that's the best place to hide something.
Well, I mean, he'll go on two different podcasts and act like he cares, and definitely he's got some director in the background whispering stuff into his ear and saying, no, don't talk about that, avoid this, don't do that, this is how you should. I'm speculating that took place. Whether it did or didn't, we don't know, but I'm speculating because all of a sudden he comes off as looking kind and he wants to be there for the working people, except his entire career he has voted against every single piece of legislation put forward, every bill and every law that would help the working class, the middle class, the working poor, and the disenfranchised. He's voted against everything that would help people. He voted against pharmacare, dental care, $10 a day daycare. He voted against the housing fund how many times?
Yeah.
So I got into a discussion and I said these things and they go, well, I don't believe you. I'm like, look, it's all public record. Go look for it yourself. I'm not doing the work on your behalf. I don't need to do the work. I've read it before. I use one of their own terms. Educate yourself. Do your own research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
There literally is nobody in that party that has any backbone because they won't stand up for their constituents. They need to be reminded of what they're there for.
Right. So we have the Conservatives suddenly opposing high-speed rail, an idea that they championed once, as you mentioned.
That's Dean Del Mastro from Peterborough.
Dean Del Mastro. Dean Del Mastro has a couple of tweets out there going like, what the fuck, man? For all intents and purposes. He didn't use those words specifically, but that's essentially the vibe.
Is he out of prison?
Pardon?
Is he out of prison?
Oh, yeah, he was. His sentence was only 1 month.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a couple of years, whatever.
No, it was 1 month.
Okay.
So yeah, so we have them doing that, and then we had Conservatives also over the past week coming up with one of their familiar refrains: "Gas is getting expensive. Let's cut some gas taxes." Right? It doesn't seem to be landing as well as it normally does when they cut, mainly because a lot of premiers won't join them.
Mm-hmm.
In cutting that gas taxes, because there's a portion that is provincial and there's a portion that is federal in that. The federal portion that Pierre wants is to cut gas taxes, federal gas taxes for the rest of this year, which would take about $7 billion out of the treasury.
Well, he doesn't care that he doesn't care that it'll hurt people.
So we need that, and either we have to find another $7 billion of cuts, or we add that $7 billion to the deficit that Pierre claims he hates so much. Once again, we are talking about another conservative type of tax cut that is untargeted, unfocused, goes to people who can only have cars and gas up
Yes.
because there is absolutely no way to give you a rebate on, the price of gas makes everything more expensive. But if you're only getting a break at the pumps, and let's say you don't have a car, do you get a break on the price of gas that goes in
I
to
don't
how
have a
much
car.
food goes up or everything else goes up, your extra baggage fee when you get on the plane, the fuel surcharge on your plane,
Mhm.
that type of stuff, the fuel surcharge when you send something with FedEx or UPS, all that type of stuff, right? All those extra little things. You don't get it. You don't get a break on that. You only get a break if you fill up at the pumps.
Right.
And then, of course, none of this legislation ever has an obligation for the companies that are supposedly pass on this tax thing to, to pass it on to you. So this is another thing of conservatives. Once again, like for example, let's do a broad GST cut to take two cents, giving you back your money
2%.
pennies at a time.
Mm.
Like this 13 cents on the liter, 2 cents on every dollar when you buy something. And it goes to everyone, whether you need it or not, income tested or not. Right. So is this really, if we're going to be taking $7 billion out of the treasury, the best tax cut at the moment?
Mm.
I've said on the show that my personal preference is that given that governments are going to be getting all this extra royalty money,
Mhm.
but the conservatives are halfway there. They're saying government shouldn't be getting rich off this. Says, well, I mean, yes, but when there's a boom, everybody's going to profit a little bit from the boom. That's why we have this royalty stuff, right?
And that money is supposed to
Right,
go
it's
right
like to
back
make some money.
into the citizenry.
Yes. But it seems to me that it would be a good idea for Mark Carney and maybe everybody already, maybe they want to wait a little bit. I've heard the argument that things could get worse and you want to keep the powder dry and not give everything right away.
Right.
But, wait to see at the end of the quarter, okay, this is how much we made. Hey, look, we made this much from royalties, more than we thought we were going to make. Here, we're going to take $1 billion or $2 billion off that and income test it and, give you a rebate back down. That could be a good program if they do that. There's an immediacy of now because people see the prices going up now,
Mhm.
and at the tax pump, given we have these signs on the road, it's like it's right there in your face, as opposed to your extra fee when you send something on UPS or something, right? So it's a good politics
Mhm.
in terms of attacking, going at that, but is it necessarily good policy, right? Um, for me, again, it's the lack of originality. Because I'm at the point now, right? When we cut these gas taxes, usually there's a delay,
Mhm.
right? And provinces that are doing it are not cutting it until the end of the year. So you could say, like, for 3 months, whatnot. Okay, maybe you want to cut it for 3 months until you see how the first 3 months goes and then give people a rebate on
Mhm.
that type of stuff. But at some point, it seems to me that it has to be not about cutting taxes anymore. Because let's say they cut this gas tax all the way, there's never going to be a good time to bring it back. Nobody
No.
likes more taxes. Now you can sunset it and it just comes back automatically and hope people don't talk about it too much. But once you cut these taxes, and let's say you can't bring them back because it's unpopular, what happens? Let's say we cut all the federal taxes
Mhm.
and we can't bring them back because this thing goes on. And let's say the war takes another twist where gas prices shoot up again. What tax do we cut then?
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be no more taxes left to cut. At one point, this has to be not about giving people a break at the point of purchase by cutting the GST by 1 or 2 cents or the gas pump, but by actually not leaving more money in people's pockets by taxing them less, but by actually putting more money in their pockets in the first place. And that's why I'm thinking like this rebate thing puts more money back into the pocket. After 3 months, we made this much more. We're taking half of that and we're giving that back to you. Starting with the people, lowest on the economic ladder and income tested up. Right. And in Canada, you have to go to almost like 120 or $150,000, even though the people who make that much are better able to absorb it
Mhm.
because everybody considers themselves middle class up until then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the fewer number of people you give it to and the more you aim it towards the bottom, the more real help you're actually giving.
Mhm.
Right. And it could also have a stimulative effect if the high cost of everything is making such that people are not spending as much because you don't want to get into a stagflation situation. You want to keep that money circulating through the economy. So my personal thought would be for the government to come in every 3 months and saying, like, "We've got all this bonus revenue, this, and we're committing already to be sharing some of this with you, so you don't need to worry. Yes, you're paying a little bit more now, but, every 3 months you'll be okay." The Conservatives are seeming to think like this, just cut off all the gases on tax, and who are only people that have something with which to go to the pumps get to save some money.
Yeah,
Yes, and then
the rest of
we're
us.
giving you back your money pennies at a time, as opposed to like one big sort of quarterly check where you can make a big purchase if you need to.
Well, kind of like the what was it? How many was it? Must be 20 years ago. We got the $250 GST rebate checks. Everybody got one. When was that? Do you remember that? Early 2000s.
Yeah, I don't remember when that was. Yeah.
It was an additional thing to those who already got a GST rebate. There was also this big.
They're doing the same thing with food recently too, that they announced not too long ago.
Yeah, was that the Harper government who did that? I can't remember. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, then I hear they're going to cut taxes. Okay, great. And that's going to hurt the most vulnerable in society. But he doesn't give a shit about those people. He wants to lock them up and put them into drug rehab centers that he deems is what they need. Like, as long as the wealthy don't get harmed, he's happy. That's what it boils down to. Because the rest of us are going to suffer. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Now, I'm not... Now, understand this. When I say that, that doesn't mean automatically that the current leader does care. We don't know. But I haven't seen the current leader punch down on those of us who are, on the fringe and struggling. I guess I'm not one of those right now, but most of my life I have been. I'm fortunate right now. For the first time in my life, I'm no longer going to the grocery store and doing the math in my head on everything in there, whether or not I can afford it. Now I just do it because I don't want to spend the extra money. but you didn't. I'm sure you've all been there where you're literally doing the math. Oh no, that's got to go back on the shelf because I can't cover that. I don't think about that anymore. I still price shop though because that part of your budgeting in your head never goes away.
Right.
You're not worried about whether you can afford it. It's whether you are willing to spend that hard-earned dollar on it. And that's the only difference now. How long does this last? Well, at least another 5 years, hopefully. Who knows?
So I guess my question to you is like, where do you sit on this whole idea? Because I know that you're a big fan, you're a big proponent of the UBI. So I'm just sitting there thinking, at some point, it has to be about conversation can't be any more about changing the price of things at the price point. The point, and it's not about if I give you an extra tax cut here or an extra tax cut there, 25 extra dollars here or 2 cents on the dollar every time you buy a double or something, that'll make your life easier. Versus, it's either time to give you a UBI or at the current moment, we budgeted for oil at $62. It's at 111. Everything over 85, we consider excess profits. We're giving back to you, or something. It seems like we need to have it more, or as a government, we're installing policies so that people actually pay you what you're freaking worth.
Well, that would be
as
nice.
opposed to.
That
But
would be
it seems to me that the problem now is about actually making sure that people not leaving more money of what they have in their pockets, I guess, or cutting a tax or whatnot, but actually making sure that we're actually putting money in someone's pocket.
Well, I think we really need to move closer to a Scandinavian model. And I don't see why we can't as we keep talking about possibly joining the EU. And Scandinavian nations right now, Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, all of them have a kinship with us. And I think we're much closer to each other than many may suspect. As Canadians, we want to help each other. fundamentally, why do you think we have a dental care program and a soon-to-be pharmacare program and current healthcare program? Yes, they all need to be beefed up, and I'd like to see some of them nationalized, and I've heard the arguments as to why we shouldn't, and they're valid arguments. But right now in the province of Ontario, I think we're missing, $65 billion in healthcare transfer funds that was not put into healthcare?
Yeah, I think over a decade or something like that. Yeah.
So $65 billion of healthcare transfers not put there. Meanwhile, I'm going to end hallway healthcare, which never happened, and he doesn't care about because he's going to build a spa for a bunch of con artists, it would appear. Anyway, aside from that, look, a UBI, institute a UBI as quickly as possible. Don't say it can't be done quickly. Look how quickly they got CERB. Okay? Institute a UBI as quickly as possible and slowly migrate the folks who are working in different departments for EI, for welfare, for ODSP, and just boom, it all falls under the UBI. Everybody gets the same $2,000 a month stipend or $3,000. I don't know what the figure is supposed to be. I don't know. And that money you get, period. That's it. You just get it. You get it even when you're working. Yes, it's taxed. Of course it is. But you still get that money. And they've proven that when that happens, folks who had little to no hope, they said, well, if you just give them the money, they're going to sit on their butt and play video games all day. Actually, the science and the data sets bear out that is not the case.
Right.
For the vast majority. Is there going to be 1 or 2%, probably 3% even, which it apparently is higher than, 3% is too high compared to the actual number, who don't get up off their duff and work? Yeah, those people exist. There's also people who cannot get up off their duff and work. Doug Ford, the best thing you do is get a job. Dude, that person is lucky to be up for 2 hours a day. Okay, you want them to get a job? Why don't we enable them to be able to get to their job or have them work remotely? If you use a mobility device of some type, are you going to help those folks get to work and help them get a job? Because I don't see Doug Ford or any other conservative premier doing anything to help those folks. So yeah, a UBI for everybody across the country, no matter your income. And that money is always there. And you know what happens with that money? If I was to get an extra $2,000 a month, man, I could get ahead of everything so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be debt-free. I had my schedule. I should be debt-free by August. But I'd be debt-free in weeks. Number one. Number two, I could actually start to save and invest. And number three, you know how many people would be able to start looking at things like buying a home?
Right.
Or investing in post-secondary education? Or doing things that, I love to do this hobby, but it's too much money. I can't afford it. Well, guess where all that money goes? Right back into the economy. Now, sure, are there going to be people who just take the money and sit on it? Yeah. But so what? So what? No, I mean it. So what?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? It's their money. Once you give it to them, what they do with it is their business. Give it to them and it's gone and you don't worry about it anymore. Is
Right.
this a pipe dream? No, this can be done. It's been done before. Every pilot project that has done it has showed a 100% success rate. In Finland, they ended homelessness by just housing people and giving them a stipend. And you know what happened to those folks? Most of them, some of them are incapable of working because they have various mental health issues. They got those folks treatment and help. They got folks clean and sober. People got back to work because they went and did something that they've always wanted to do because they were able to have stability in their lives with a home and enough money to eat that they could just go start working again. It all works and all the data set proves it. But you have folks who think they're getting something for nothing and they're giving back. Let's help people. We can make the world a better place. But there's too many people who don't want it because they need somebody to A, look down on, B, feel better than, and C, profit off of. Because poverty is a business.
It is indeed.
Now, I want to pivot to Avi Lewis for a moment or two, if we could.
You were reading my mind.
I wasn't 100% sold on him prior to election, prior to his election as leader. I wasn't 100% sold on him. I didn't have any hatred for him. I loved his work when he was on Much Music. He's been a good filmmaker. A big fan of his wife's work, Naomi Campbell. All right. Klein, thank you. Naomi Campbell, somebody else. Naomi Klein, love her work. Yes, thank you. Naomi. Anyway, love her work as well. Campbell Klein. Okay. So Naomi Klein, love her work as well. And everything he's been saying since he got into this position has been like, okay, you have my attention, sir. You have my attention. Because he's saying a lot of the same things I say. Mm-hmm. Now, is some of his stuff pipe dream? Perhaps, but from what I've heard, when I saw him on, what was it, Power Play the other day, or what is it?
Power in Politics or Power Play? Yeah, it could be either.
I think it was the one with Vashi. Maybe I'm wrong.
Power Play.
I just saw a clip. I didn't get a chance to sit down and watch the whole thing because I was busy, but I saw a clip, and he was telling the truth that a lot of people don't like to hear because it hurts their bottom line. How about we give out corporate welfare? Which I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of corporate welfare. I like to describe myself as a what's the word I'm looking for? A fiscal conservative, a social liberal and a fiscal conservative. And somebody asked me, how can that be? You can't be both. And I go, yeah, sure I can. Here's how I'm a fiscal conservative. Stop giving billions of our dollars to massively profitable corporations. I don't want to see any more money going to oil companies. You're already rich. I don't want to pay twice for your product. I pay you to make sure you keep pumping it. Then I got to pay for it when I buy it. No. End corporate welfare, period. And most conservatives I know, again, they're progressives, are fully on board with that.
Right.
Because they're like, yeah, no, they're a rich company. We got to stop giving them handouts. So yeah, I am a fiscal conservative and a social liberal. End corporate welfare. Put our money, our hard-earned money that goes into the tax base, into programs that will help Canadians, the average and less than average and below the line Canadians. Mm-hmm. That's where I want to see people get helped with our billions of dollars. How many abandoned oil wells are there in Alberta that will never be cleaned up by the corporations that are supposed to clean them? Because the little loophole is, oh, no, it's still ours. It's orphaned. We're just not using it right now. Right. Which means they'll never use it. But because it's still theirs and it's orphaned, not abandoned, and I use the wrong term, abandoned, because if it's abandoned, then they're responsible for it. But if it's orphaned, say, no, we're going to come back and use it. It's just not pumping enough today, so we'll come back eventually. They never do.
Right.
Technically, it's still on their books, so they don't have to clean it up. It's not a loophole. It's just the way the law was written, the way the contracts were drawn up. That needs to change.
Right.
You make a mess, you got to clean it up. And I ain't paying for it. I don't want to pay for it. I saw somebody the other day saying, well, if you end oil subsidies, what about ending subsidies? If you end all the oil and gas subsidies, that's going to affect Air Canada and Via Rail. And I'm like, what? Air Canada doesn't get subsidies, and they're not an oil and gas company. Via Rail is subsidized. It is. But it was also developed as a Crown Corp.
Right.
So Air Canada is a private company. It went private in 1984. Thank you, Brian Mulroney. Asshole. Sorry, rest in peace. But come on. Stop selling off all of our good. He sold off all the vaccines. They sold off the wheat board. This is the conservative way. They sell off everything that we as Canadians have put our hard-earned money into tax base to build. And then they sell it off for a short-term profit. I mean, come on. The Highway 407 in Toronto? How much money is that Spanish company raking in? Mm. And we get none of it. The thing that we built.
Right.
And we're still building, by the way, because they're being extended, east and west. So we're building this highway that we don't own. Somebody else gets all the profits from. Explain to me how that makes good fiscal sense, because I'm not a rocket surgeon.
I hear you. I hear you. So, since we're talking about Avi Lewis,
Yes, sir.
um, I haven't. But there's a lot of people that are writing the obituary of the NDP.
I think it's the opposite right now. Actually, I think they're going to experience a rebirth. I really do.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was asking. On what basis do you see that?
He's telling truths that people don't want to hear in many cases. He's saying we need to end corporate welfare. We need to stop giving money to companies that don't have a right to it, number one. And number two, we need to prop up Canadians, put money in their pockets and help them through programs that we believe in. Will they form government? I don't think so. And that's the truth. I don't think so. I don't think they'll form government. But who knows? Nobody ever thought the NDP would get elected in Alberta, and they did. And now people are regretting the UCP because holy shit.
Right. Do you think he has the stuff to get the party to at least official status at the next election?
I do. I really do. Because I think there's enough people out there when you listen to what he what he says and how passionately he believes in it.
Ooh, Mademoiselle Lola.
Yeah, how passionately he believes in it. And again, he's telling you truths. He's not giving you fantasy pie in the sky stuff. He's saying, here's how we can make things better. Yes, we need to make some cuts, but not to social programs and not punch down on people. We need to go after the big guys who don't give a damn about you. And I was like, okay, preaching to the choir here. I like this, or the congregation. You don't preach to the choir, you preach to the congregation. The choir sings. As a choir master or a choir individual, you would know that. But I think he's saying the right things, and I think a lot of Canadians are dialed into it. And and some progressive conservative friends of mine, he said, no, I like what he's saying. Because the progressive conservative thought process, and again, that party doesn't exist right now.
Right.
In any way, shape, or form in Canada. It's dead, gone, and buried. And maybe Tim Houston, there's some progressive policies there, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But the rest of the country, absolutely not. The progressive conservatives do not exist anymore. And anyone I knew who was a progressive conservative, most of them were again, the UBI is a progressive conservative idea.
Hugh Siegel.
Boots need bootstraps. It's as simple as that. They want to make a better country for everybody. Well, you got to give people a hand up. And that's the difference. People think a UBI is a handout. It's not. It's a hand up. It's giving people the opportunity to pull themselves up by their bootstraps by first going out and buying boots.
Yep.
And Wab Kinew, Canada's, I think, highest rated provincial premier, and somebody who I have a great deal of admiration and respect for. He doesn't see eye to eye with everything that Avi Lewis does, but he does support him on a vast number of programs.
Right.
And one of the things that Wab is doing is cutting back on giving money to people who don't deserve it and giving it to money to people who need it by putting in programs that will help people buy the boots to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And I think, look, if Wab were to run for leader of the party, the federal NDP in the future at some point, I think he would win in a landslide, honestly. And I think he could be the man to take the party to form government. I really do, because what he's done in Manitoba, the way he's turned the province around, and the way people in Manitoba are resoundingly saying, yeah, okay. He's made my life better. And every time I turn around and I see somebody screaming about, Carney this, Carney that, he's got to go. I go, why? What has he done that's hurt you? Well, yeah, you don't have, you're just blinded by corporate speak, by Pierre Poilievre saying, max the tax, sell the homes, put money in my pocket. No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Come on. I'll go off. But I do think Avi Lewis can really bring the party to federal status. I think in the next federal election, which is 4+ years away, could be up to 5 because it's a 6-year term, correct? Is it a 6 or 5-year term?
For MPs?
No, federal elections.
5-year term.
It's fixed at 5. That's right. We sometimes have them after 4, but it's fixed at 5.
Right.
So there's another 4 years to go. I don't know why I was thinking 6 for a minute. Just a second, Lola. So in that, he's got 4 years of runway to rebuild the party. The party's pretty broke right now. I get that. But he's got 4 years of runway. And I think if he works together with the federal government, can you hear her?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. She's like, I want out. If he works together with the federal government, the government of Canada, I think we can actually see major improvements. Look, why did we get a pharmacare program and a dental care program? Because the NDP and the Liberals worked together on it.
Right.
Remember Lester B. Pearson, 40-hour work week, CPP, EI, Canadian flag, in a minority government with the support of other parties.
Right.
And who voted against all of that?
Conservatives.
Right.
Yeah.
See, their job as the opposition party is to oppose. Yes. But the other half of the statement is our job is to oppose and propose. It's oppose and propose.
Right.
Propose an alternative. Propose something better. Propose something that might make us need to compromise on this. But they don't propose anything. They just oppose everything. And if it's a liberal idea, liberal bad, conservative good. To the point when they have conservative MPs going to the housing minister for funds to help their constituents, they're slapped on the wrist for it and told not to do that. Not do their job, help their constituents. Okay, just a second, Lola. I really got to take her out. Sorry.
That's all right.
She's really on the wine this morning. Well, I suppose it is almost 9 o'clock. So thanks, folks, for joining us. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you know how much I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your contributions and your both financially and in the chat. We really do appreciate it. I do have to go because she's getting very antsy right now. So I will take my leave and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye, my friend. Grizzly time, Grizzly time. We had some lovely Grizzly time, Grizzly time, Grizzly time. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, kids and cubs, since we're talking about some stuff today, let's keep the conversation going. Picked up a couple of notes over the course of the weekend here. Stephen Lewis, for those who are wondering, because it was asked on the show and I didn't know at the time, but I do know now. It seems that he had been fighting an inoperable abdominal cancer for the better part of 7 or 8 years, and that's ultimately what claimed his life. So just for those who are wondering, and gentle correction on myself, in that when we were talking about Air Canada and the CEO, Michel Rousseau, who has now announced that he will be retiring at some point, I kept on referring to Air Canada as a crown corporation, which that is not the case. Of course, it is a publicly owned corporation, but it used to be a crown corporation. And what I meant to say when I was referring to it as a crown corporation was that it was a federally regulated industry. And thus the Official Languages Act applies, not because it's a crown corporation, but because it's a federally regulated agency. And I was using the wrong term, so forgive me for that. I think I did it all during the entire time I spoke about Michel Rousseau and the thing. I had kept on saying that it was a crown corporation the entire time, and that was factually incorrect. So I wanted to make sure that I got the gentle correction on the record. I've actually had it as a note for the past few days, and I keep on forgetting to do that. Of course, much love and care and goodwill to people around the world who are celebrating Passover or Easter at the moment. Pope Leo delivered his first ever Easter address and called for peace and urged the world not to grow numb to war and suffering. In Jerusalem, there were no pilgrims for Holy Week this year, as Israeli authorities had imposed strict wartime restrictions on visitors. Only about a dozen priests had been praying inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. where Jesus is believed to have died and was resurrected. Auxiliary Bishop William Shamali says that holy places without pilgrims is like a body without soul. Quote, we intensify our prayer for peace for the politicians so that they may take another way, change their mind, and choose the way of peace, forgiveness, and reconciliation. And in the UK, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Sarah Mullally, used her Easter sermon to call for an end to, quote, the violence and destruction in the Middle East, adding, quote, that all people of the region receive the peace, justice, and freedom they long for. And also of note that we didn't mention on the day of that it happened on the show, but on the 31st of March, I believe it was the Transgender Day of Visibility. Apologies for not having mentioned it on the day of when it happened, because it probably would have been a little more timely at that point. But did want to note that it did indeed happen, and put that into the record. And of course, lots of love and to the community. And of course, we see you, and you are always welcome here at the Beaver Lodge. So please pull up a log and make yourself comfy and stay a while. We have some wonderful people here in the chat, and you always have a home wherever we are. All right. Let's see, what else do we have here? Little announcement from the federal government with regard to passports, because as you know, when we were coming back from COVID, that was a really big deal. People not being able to get passports fast enough. Well, now it seems that there's a guarantee from the federal government that you get your passport in 30 days or it is free. And the countdown, of course, will start once the government receives a complete application for that. So that appears to be a new policy. So that must be an indication that the federal government is fairly confident that they've got everything under control once again. For those of you who have been following the Artemis thing, that is, of course, the first lunar mission since 1972. Interesting in that the astronauts played a role in the design of the actual spacecraft, and it has entered high orbit after a translunar injection burn, and it is scheduled today to do the lunar flyby, where it's going to pass around the moon and around the dark side of it. NASA senior researcher Kelsey Young says that they will be able to see a total solar eclipse during the flyby. Quote, the sun will pass behind the moon and from the perspective, creating a solar eclipse, and from a perspective that's very unique to this mission. There's a little bit of a story clip from CBC about what's going on, what should be expected today. I think so. So I'm going to play that for you, for those of you who happen to be geeking out on the whole Artemis thing. And of course, that is the wrong one. This is the correct one. There you go.
Feels very much like my body is operating pretty much exactly it did on Earth. The one thing that
That's Jeremy Hansen talking about how his body feels in outer space, just like how it did at Earth. The astronaut was taking questions from Canadian children early this morning. The Artemis 2 moon mission is now into its 5th day, which means Mark tracking all of the latest that's happening on this historic flyby to the moon that we're working towards. That's happening tomorrow, but a lot of work needs to be done today first.
Yes, today's definitely the setup, and it's going to be a busy day for them. And things change just gravity-wise, literally, because they move into the lunar sphere, which means the gravitational pull of the moon takes over on this mission and starts pulling them toward the moon. Of course, they'll be boosting themselves toward it as well. They will also spend the day doing tests and drills around their spacesuits, making sure they work, making sure they can get into them quickly if they need to, because they're essentially 6-day survival suits if for whatever reason the cabin were to depressurize. And then at the end of the day, they will do one more of those trajectory correction burns to make sure they're on on the right path for that flyby of the moon tomorrow. The astronauts are sleeping right now, getting some well-earned rest. They've been asleep for a few hours after what was a long day yesterday, dealing with issues with the toilet on board, which are still not resolved, but at a point where they can still do what they need to do. And as you mentioned, they took questions in a Q&A hosted by the Canadian Space Agency from kids across Canada. They talked about various things, whether they see stars in space. They showed off some of the food they eat in space. And Jeremy Hansen and Reed Wiseman gave a demonstration of how they would do CPR in the capsule.
I can show you in the camera view if I just slide Reed over here. And so what I need to do is support myself and have him against something. So if I put my back here,
That's so cool.
and Reed here, I can push on him.
The whole thing in zero G looks so absurd, and I think that's why everyone's laughing. They do say that they have several other easier to perform techniques, but that was the one that they showed there just because it was the best to show on camera.
Minor dental procedures too, which is really fascinating.
They can do it all.
They can do it all, and they will do it all. The main goal of this mission is, of course, not the main goal, but one of the main goals of this mission is to fly past the moon, the far side of the moon. That's happening tomorrow.
Yes, that is the main event, essentially. And so it begins later on in the day. If we're looking at Eastern time, around 1 p.m. Eastern time is when they start to go through the procedures of that. They've already seen some views of the moon, though. They've seen parts of the far and near sides of the moon. Here is the Oriental Basin, which is sort of a valley formation in the moon. This is the first time it has been seen by humans with naked eyes, as photographed by the NASA crew and sent back to Earth. But tomorrow, around 2:45 p.m. is when the crew will start to get really close. And then around 6:47 p.m., that's when they will loop around that dark side of the moon and lose communication with the Earth, something we've been talking about for the last couple of days. They'll lose communication for up to 50 minutes. They come back around sometime after 7 p.m. and will set a record as being the humans furthest away from Earth that there have ever been. Over that time, they will see some views for certain parts of the far side of the moon that have not been seen with the naked eye by any humans. The whole thing will be wrapped up by a little after 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. They will debrief with NASA. They will send back the photos they've seen. I can't wait to see them. I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone will be glued to their social media posts and everything that they're sending out with all of those new photos. Mark, thanks so much.
Thank you.
So, all right, kids and cubs, like I said, today is the big day for the fly past the moon. According to the Canadian press here, says the Artemis 2 mission is expected to complete a record-breaking lunar flyby today. The Canadian Space Agency says astronaut Jeremy Hansen and his 3 American crewmates are set to become the space explorers who will have ventured farther into space than anyone before, surpassing a record set by the Apollo 13 in 1970. NASA says the estimated maximum distance from Earth during today's flyby by the Orion spacecraft will exceed 406,000 kilometers, surpassing the 400,171 kilometers set by Apollo 13. When Orion passes behind the moon, the spacecraft will enter a communications blackout of about 40 minutes as the lunar surface blocks radio signals. Later, it will come as close as about 6,500 kilometers to the moon's surface, and from that vantage point, Hansen has said the moon will look like a basketball held at an arm's length. For a little over 5 hours, the crew is expected to take turns observing and photographing geological features on the moon, like impact craters and ancient lava flows. Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canada's Jeremy Hansen were on track to pass as close as 6,550 kilometers to the moon as their Orion capsule whips past it, hangs a U-turn, and then heads back towards Earth. It will take them 4 days to get back with a splashdown in the Pacific near San Diego, concluding their test flight on Friday, 9 days after its Florida launch. Wiseman and his crew spent years studying lunar geography to prepare for the big event, adding solar eclipses to their repertoire during the past few weeks. By launching last Wednesday, they ensured themselves of a total solar eclipse from their vantage point behind the moon, courtesy of the cosmos. Quote, the crew will make their lunar observations with real-time data analysis, guidance provided by a team of scientists, and the knowledge acquired through their geology training in Labrador, Iceland, and in class to describe surface textures, shapes, and colors, providing valuable data for the future exploration of the moon, reads a news release from the Canadian Space Agency. The flyby promises views of the moon's far side that were too dark or too difficult to see by the 24 Apollo astronauts who preceded them. NASA says the Oriental Basin, a 3.8 billion year old crater that formed when a large object struck the lunar surface, will be fully illuminated and visible as Orion approaches. Other sightseeing goals, the Apollo 12 and 14 landing sites from 1969 and 1971, respectively, as well as fringes of the South Polar region, the preferred locale for future touchdowns. Farther afield, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Saturn, not to mention Earth, will be visible. Their moon mentor, NASA geologist Kelsey Young, expects thousands of pictures. Quote, people all over the world connect with the moon. This is something that every single person on this planet can understand and connect with, she said on the eve of the flyby, wearing eclipse earrings. On Tuesday, Orion will leave the lunar sphere of influence en route back to Earth. Apollo 13's astronauts missed out on a moon landing when one of their oxygen tanks ruptured on the way there. The voyage coined the famous phrase, Houston, we have a problem. Mission Control pivoted to a free return lunar trajectory to get them home as fast and efficiently as possible. This routing relies on the gravity of Earth and the moon and minimal fuel. Artemis 2's astronauts are following the same figure-8 path since they are neither orbiting the moon nor landing on it. And in that story, you heard a little bit about some training having taken place in Labrador. And this is very interesting because it would seem that there in Labrador, there is a crater that was caused, I guess, I'm going to guess from space landed there and created that. And it creates an environment that is very similar to what could be found on the moon. And it would seem that during that training, Jeremy Hansen was very much impressed with and touched by the people who had provided it, and had a patch designed, or I guess, that represented the knowledge that he acquired and the respect that he has from them. And that patch has many insignia. I'm just going to see if I can find a little bit more about it and maybe find a visual that I can show specifically. But it was created by Anishinaabe artist Henry Guimont from the Turtle Lodge, and it features the 7 sacred laws, animals representing teachings, and Grandmother Moon, honoring indigenous knowledge and connection to the earth during the journey to space. And here it is, actually. There is a visual that I have for you that I can present. So let's see if I can bring it up right about here. There you go. And maybe I can make it a little bigger. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, you have the 7 sacred animals, and of course the moon here. And according to the Canadian Space Agency's website, it says here that the personal mission patch for Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen, based on artwork by artist Henry Guimont of the Sag King First Nation in Manitoba. Patches are an integral part of space culture. When a crew is assigned to mission, NASA creates a patch for them. Usually when an astronaut belongs to a space agency other than NASA, that agency also creates a personal patch for its crew member. The patch reflects the mission objectives and some personal preferences of the astronaut who wears it proudly both on Earth and in space. Mission patches have been worn by NASA astronauts since 1965 and by Canadian Space Agency astronauts since 1984, when the first Canadian flew in space. For the Canadian Space Agency, astronaut Jeremy Hansen's participation in the historic Artemis 2 mission to the moon, his mission patch was graciously created by Anishinaabe artist Henry Guimont. It was done with the contribution of Dave Courchain III, leader of the Turtle Lodge in the Sag King First Nation in Manitoba. For the past decade, Jeremy has been fortunate to be invited by numerous indigenous communities to sit with elders and knowledge keepers. They have blessed him with knowledge and teachings that he carries with him as he prepares for his mission. These precious experiences have given Jeremy a profound appreciation for indigenous ways of knowing. While the patch contains elements of Anishinaabe culture that do not reflect all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis cultures, working with an Indigenous artist to create the patch he will wear with great humility as he represents our country in space was Jeremy's ways to recognize the importance of traditional knowledge and Indigenous peoples in Canada. There we go. And they actually have another visual of it down here. That actually might be better because you can see a little bit more of the details here. So you have the Canadian flag on top. Of course, you have the animals here, Mother Moon, the seventh animal, of course, the turtle here. And so, yeah, very cool patch indeed, I have to say. And here again with the mission going around the moon. As you can see, very interesting indeed here as a patch. The story goes on here to say, oh, cool. And this must be the artist as well. So since we're showing it, let's give the artist some props as well. There you go, Mr. Guimond. The patch was created for CSA astronaut Colonel Jeremy Hansen in honor of his participation in the historic Artemis 2 mission to the moon by Anishinaabe artist Henry Guimond of the Turtle Lodge. The heptagonal shape and the animals are a reference to the 7 sacred laws, a traditional First Nation teaching shared with Jeremy in preparation for his journey around Grandmother Moon. This teaching is but one example of many rich and selfless teachings found in the diverse cultures of Indigenous peoples, the first explorers. The bow represents Artemis, the twin sister of Apollo, the Greek goddess of the hunt, nature, and the moon. Artemis launches her arrow with the astronauts, sending them around Grandmother Moon, who conveys the cycle of life. It is said that she watches over the waters of Earth, regulates the tides, and feeds life. The arrow launches from Turtle Island, which refers to the continent of North America in the creation stories of some Indigenous peoples. The Royal Canadian Air Force astronaut wings are symbolic of the Canadian Armed Forces' role in Canada's journey to the moon and recognize the sacrifice of Jeremy's fellow service members and their families. The Canadian flag at the top pays tribute to the thousands of people who have worked across our country to make this mission possible, but also to symbolically bring all Canadians along on this mission around the moon. The Big Dipper and the North Star, easily recognizable in the night sky of the Northern Hemisphere, are a reminder that humanity exists among an unimaginably expansive universe, as the stars visible to the human eye in our night sky are limited to only those of the Milky Way, our galaxy. Starting with Indigenous peoples, explorers have used these visible stars for navigation, and astronauts continue to navigate by them in deep space. The North Star is shown as a 5-pointed star to represent the 5 members of the Hansen family, as well as Texas, where Jeremy and his family have been living since he was recruited as a CSA astronaut. The silver border represents the Orion spacecraft that will support the crew on their journey. The CSA is fittingly represented within this border as well to honor the extraordinary efforts of both its past and present members to support space exploration and bring its benefits back to humanity. Inside the silver border is a thin blue line. The blue represents the light or spirit that is in all of us, in all humankind, plants and animals. This spirit will travel with the crew aboard the capsule. And there you go. And then, of course, it says here, the heptagonal shape of the patch is a reference to the 7 sacred laws or 7 grandfather teachings. The 7 sacred laws are ancestral values that inspire our conduct as human beings and bring us back to a relationship with Mother Earth. They are represented by 7 animals. Each animal offers a special gift and understanding of how we as people can live in harmony with one another. So the animal here, and this was, again, shared with Canadians by Sabe, the leader of the Turtle Lodge. So the first one is buffalo. It stands for respect. It gives the entire being to feed the people for them to live. Elders teach that when you respect others, you give of yourself, you give your life to help people around you to create a better existence for all. The eagle represents love. Grandmothers say that one of the most powerful medicines we have is love, that love is a powerful healer. The eagle also symbolizes vision and sight. It is important to see ahead, to have a vision of one's purpose, and to work towards it. Elders teach that one's true purpose is always rooted in love and in support of others. A very physically powerful animal, the bear, represents courage. A mother bear is fearless in the protection of her cubs. It is natural for her to display courage and strength to do what is right in life. It's not always easy to face challenges, follow one's purpose, and to do the right thing. Only with the courage and resilience of the bear will you be able to face and overcome the challenges that could prevent you from living out your life's purpose. Sasquatch or Bigfoot, Sabe or giant in the Ojibwe language, represents the importance of honesty and being true to one's word. Say what you mean and be honest with yourself and others. Elders often exemplify this trait when they say something. Their word is a commitment and can be counted upon. Honesty is also speaking true and good words about others and avoiding gossip. The beaver represents wisdom. It has an incredible gift to build and create, as well as the wisdom of how to use the gift. The beaver's creation harnesses life's giving water to create important ecosystems that support and enable life. It can even channel water back into an area following a devastating forest fire, renewing and revitalizing that ecosystem. Like the beaver, we all have a special gift to offer others. Use the wisdom of the beaver to acknowledge your gifts and put them to use in the service of others. This is the source of life, satisfaction, and happiness. The wolf represents humility, acknowledging that there is a higher power and natural laws governing the universe. Showing gratitude for our life and our existence while acknowledging that we are all equal is a sign of humility. The sun shines on us all equally, and no one is better or less than others. And then finally, the turtle, which represents truth. The elders say that in order to know and understand truth, we have to learn to understand the 6 other teachings: respect, love, courage, honesty, wisdom, and humility. The turtle leaves a trail, truth for us to follow. As we are constantly faced with challenges, we should do our best to follow that trail and live truthfully. So there you have it. A little bit more about that part of it. And some cubs, since we are talking about it, CBC also had a clip about that training in that crater area in Labrador. And I figured I would also bring that to you, kids and cubs, because, again, it's very interesting to see everything that actually goes into a training, into such a mission. We always think immediately about the science and the tech and all the wonder and the awe of space itself. But there's more to it, right? There's lots of stuff that happens in various places, lots of contributions from various people, people that will never actually go into space themselves or get anywhere near it, that all contribute to helping people actually get there and to realize these awesome missions. As Jeremy Hansen, I believe, said earlier, that this is a big win for humanity at a time where we actually need showing people cooperating and collaborating. So this interesting bit from the CBC as to how the Innu Nation helped to train these astronauts, I thought was a pretty good feel-good story. So I'll bring it to you here, courtesy of the CBC.
So this crater in northern Labrador played an important part in preparing the Artemis II mission. The 36-million-year-old site served as a training ground for astronauts because of how much it is similar to the lunar surface. The crater lies within the traditional hunting grounds of the Innu First Nation. Their guidance was so helpful that Jeremy Hansen brought their flag with him up into space. Jody Ashini organized the Artemis II crew meetings with the Mushwa Innu in Kamasastan, and she's with us now. Jody, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, Jody, I'm fascinated by this because it is culturally important, these grounds, but also so very similar to the moon. What is it like out there?
It's a very, very important place to the Innu people. We wanted to ensure that every part of the work was done culturally sensitive. So we made sure that the Innu Guardians from Natoshish went with the crew and really, they got the full experience of their knowledge, their knowledge of the landscape, their stories, the oral histories, a part of the Gumestas. And it's a very rocky, very deep water, very big lake area that has been used for thousands of years by the Innu people.
As you're speaking, Jody, we're looking at some images of it, and it's absolutely stunning looking at your territory there. What did it mean for your community, not just to have these astronauts out on your traditional hunting grounds, this geologically unique and such a significant area, but also for them to come into your community and meet with young people?
It was very awe-inspiring. I think we were all very excited to get to meet them. They're very down to earth and really put themselves in you can see the chairs with the children and answered every question, no matter how big or small. And it was really nice. They really were such they're such personable people that they never felt like big celebrities, or they just felt like one of us. And it was really nice that we could really just speak to them, and it was exciting.
Well, it is clear the visit made an impression on them, so much that Jeremy Hansen promised to take your flag, the flag of the Innu Nation, up into space. I wonder what that means to you, thinking that they're up there now, and so is your flag.
Oh, it's exciting. I asked him during one of his meetings when he got back from Gumestas and spoke to the Innu and Shajit. And he said he'd bring it. So I was like, oh, I didn't expect that answer at all. And then I was talking to Dr. Gordon Ozinski again not long ago, and he said that he was talking to Jeremy, and Jeremy said he had it packed. So we're all very excited, and we can't wait for the day when there's a video of when we get to see it out in space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of video, Jody, did people in the community have the chance to watch liftoff yesterday?
Yes, everyone was tuned in and very excited.
I imagine so. Well, Jody, it's a great pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for making some time in your morning and for welcoming the astronauts into the community, into your community.
Oh, thank you. It was such an honor to be able to be a part of all of it. It's very excited, and we're all watching eagerly and waiting and hoping for a safe return to Earth.
That is Jody Ashini.
So there you have it, Kits and Cubs. You never know where help for such a big mission or such a big endeavor is going to come from. But there you go. A little Canadian know-how, a little Canadian knowledge, and traditional knowledge went into that. With regard to the toilet, for those who are wondering, it seems that there's an ice blockage within the space toilet, which doesn't allow them to dump the wastewater. It seems that on a Saturday, they had actually canceled a trajectory correction burn because they had to manually redirect the capsule to get some sunlight on it to melt the ice block. Apparently, half the ice has been removed, so they can still use it somewhat, I guess, but it's still an issue. And Mission Control has ordered the crew to use backup urine bags if needed. So there you go. Get some cups. We bring you all the info here at the Beaver Lodge. All the info that we can. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think that might be everything for you today. Just looking at the time there. Yes, it is, Kids and Cubs. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember, sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So please tell your peeps and poops all about us. And Kids and Cubs, please do tell me in the chat before we go if there was no fuzzy beaver today, or at least a whole lot less, because this is the first episode that we've done since we've had the internet upgraded, and the fuzzy beaver should stop. So I would definitely love your feedback on that. Also, apologies on my part for not having done a show on Friday. After the Thursday show, sometimes after opening night, you get a bit of an adrenaline rush, and I did get one, and I was up very, very late. I don't think I got to bed until about close to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I did try to get up to do the show the following day, but I was just, I was not feeling good at all. So apologies. I had hoped I knew when I went to bed that I wouldn't be up on time to do it, and I had posted a note saying that I might do something later in the day. And I was in a lot of pain that day, and my get up and go got up and went, and so I took a me day there. I was also thinking maybe doing something yesterday as an extra show to boost it, not only to boost it but to reclaim the show I missed. But yesterday too was another day that I was pretty sore and low energy. But feeling much better today, and I felt good the day in between that, but just a little rough. So that is the reason for which you did not see me on Friday. There was nothing ultimately wrong. I just woke up feeling like I had a hangover, which is really weird given I've never been drunk a day in my life. But feeling very dehydrated and just no energy on that day. So yes, I took a personal day there for me there. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay, I think that's everything. As I mentioned before, remember sharing is caring. So please share our content with your peeps and poops, especially if you include a little word from yourself as to why it is that our content resonated with you. And that would make us very happy indeed. If you would like to help us in other ways, kids and cubs, one of the ways you can do that is by scanning this QR code, which will bring you to our YouTube page if you're not there already. And we'll bring you to our like, share, and subscribe buttons, which we ask you to smash with, particularly our subscribe button. That helps us with the algorithm. As you can see, our number of subscribers have been going up. I think we're at 29,400 now. We had a couple more join us over the course of the weekend, and that always brings some happiness, warms the cockles of the heart. So please do give us a little click there. We really appreciate that, and it helps us with the algorithm. And if you are able to help us in other ways, say financially, for example, because we do incur some costs to bring the show to you, we would be grateful for an enthusiastic expression of encouragement on your part, so that we can do more. And one of the ways you can do that is you can scan that QR code that has just appeared, and it will bring you to our coffee page, which can be found at ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. And there you can make a contribution, a couple of loonies or toonies in the emergency hydration fund tip jar. It goes a long way to keeping your favorite beaver nice and moist. Got an extended moist there for you today. Because I was rather dehydrated over the course of the weekend. So yes, please, kids and cubs, a little donation. We have you set up over there. If you can give a one-time donation or a recurring monthly donation, if you like, we get about 95 to 97% of your donation when you donate through coffee. Of course, we have the super chat, and we have memberships on our YouTube page, where we get about 70% of your donation. And of course, if you're doing the Buy Canadian thing and don't want to deal with any US CE Tech Bro companies, transfer from your bank to ours using the email address truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com guarantees that your transaction is 100% Canadian with no service fees, and we get 100% of your donation. So that's a win-win-win, and we like those. So thank you very much, kids and cubs, for all that you do to show us your support. Because democracy is something that you do, kids and cubs, remember on the 12th of April, we will be choosing, or we will find out, who is the new leader of the CAQ in Quebec. So if you have the opportunity to vote there, please do. Same thing will be happening in British Columbia in the month of May for the leadership of the BC Conservative Party. Of course, the 13th, 1 week from today, is by-election night in Canada. Kids and Cubs might do an evening special for that, for all of us to enjoy and watch the results come in. But yes, by-election night, early voting is available at all polling stations today. And you can go to your Elections Canada office up until tomorrow as well to vote early. If you need your to vote by mail, I think the 7th tomorrow is the last day that you can order your ballot. So because it needs time to get to you and then time to get back. So if you are ordering it today or tomorrow, you basically have to fill it in as soon as it comes into the mailbox and put it right back in if you want to be sure that your vote is still counted. But that will all take place on the 13th. We will get those results. So please plan your vote and don't let your friends do democracy alone there. The high-speed rail public consultation, Alto Train, continues into the month of April. It is to April 24th or April 24th it is. So please let your thoughts be known there. If you've got some thoughts about the expropriation process, environmental concerns, environmental assessments, the actual route it will take, all of that, this is your time to get your views known about this. And of course, we have House of Commons petition number 7148, which closes tomorrow, April 7th at 1:58 p.m. So there's still today and tomorrow for part of the day to share this with your friends and family and use your influence to get people to sign this. I'm including it in the chat for you, kids and cubs. And we are now at, giving it a refresh, we've crossed the 42,000 threshold, 42,074 signatures. Let's hope we have a mad rush in the last 36 or so hours in order to get as many signatures as possible on that one. Kids and Cubs, words of wisdom. You know what? My words of wisdom are, sometimes it's good to open a door to the past. You never know. Sometimes some really nice things come out of it. Once you're ready to open the door, of course. So there you go. Those are my words of wisdom. Sometimes there's some good things out there. All right, kids and cubs. Could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And at the count of 3, can I please have you say, Mr. Beaver, please cue the cock on 1, 2, and 3. Let's hear it. Ooh, that is the good stuff. You asked so nice. I wish I could give you a little cock-a-doodle-doo twice, but once we'll have to do. So here's a little cock-a-doodle-doo just for you. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music. All right, kids and cubs, and a little bit of Canadians who make us proud. Congratulations to Canada's men's curling team, who picked up silver at the World Men's Curling Championships in Ogden, Utah, facing Team Sweden, skipped by Nicholas Edin, the GOAT greatest of all time, who picked up his 8th World Championship as a skip. Very interesting match, lots of fun. Uh, Definitely nothing for Team Canada to be ashamed about. In fact, the skip, Matt Dunstone, is actually quoted as saying something like it was the happiest silver medal he's ever earned. Everybody played very well. So it was definitely nobody had a reason to hang their heads after that final. And it was a great performance. Hopefully, we'll see Team Dunstone at the World Championships more often now that they've done it once. But still, no gold medal at the World Men's Curling Championships since 2017, when Brad Gushu was the last to get it for us. But still medaling though, just not the big one. Matt Dunstone, Colton Lott. Who else is on the team? Trying to remember off the top of my head. Scott Walker was there as the alternate. And of course, EG and Ryan Harden at second and lead. Brothers, the Brush Brothers, with EJ retiring after this match. A good way to end a career with a World Championship silver medal. He also has an Olympic gold medal in his case, and I believe 4 Brier titles, and I think medals at a few other World Championships along the way. For him, he will one of the best brushers in the entire world. So definitely will be a loss to the sport. I believe his brother is continuing on to play, but that was the last bit of EJ Harden that we're going to get as a curling professional, unless he decides to make a comeback at some point. Also, kids and cubs, some congratulations go out to some of our figure skaters. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before was the World Figure Skating Championships. And Piper Gillies and Paul Poirier skated to the silver medal on the ice dance event at the 2026 ISU Figure Skating World Championships, reaching the second step of the podium for the 3rd consecutive year. Gillis and Poirier posted a total score of 211.52 points. That put them on the podium behind new world champions Laurence Fournier-Baudry, who is Canadian-born, and Guillaume Cizeron of France, who picked up 230.81. After skating to Govardo's cover of Vincent at Milano Cortina 2026, Gillis and Poirier returned to an old favorite for their free program, performing their iconic Wuthering Hearts routine from 2 seasons ago, earning 125.07 points. And of course, they previously won bronze medals in 2021 and 2023. I think those might be Olympic. No, those can't be Olympic in 2021, 23. Those have to be World Championships ones as well. Marjorie Lajoie and Zachary Laga finished 9th overall in the competition, and Marie-Jade Lariot and Romain Lagac finished 13th overall. And they were in 20th after their rhythm dance on Friday. So they climbed up 7 spots between that and their free skate, which is very good. Stephen Gogolev didn't pick up a medal in the men's singles, but did exceptionally well, finishing in the top 5. I think he picked up 4th. So we are learning that the success that he had this year has not been a fluke. He's been able to repeat it many times over. He was very happy with this finish, and it confirmed to him as well that it was not a fluke, and that he's very anxious to see what he will be able to do next year. But by finishing at the top 5, he was able to secure 2 spots for the Canadian men at the 2027 World Championships. And it's been a while since we've had 2 skaters there, so that is good. Team Canada also won another medal. There was a surprise one. Leah Pereira and Trent Michaud became World Championship medalists, securing the pair's bronze medal. They also had a very interesting Olympics where they were in 3rd place after the short program, but then didn't do as well in the long program, and I think finished 9th overall. But this time they had a good program and were able to capitalize on it in order to pick up the medal. Quote, I think it's a little hard to describe right now, said Pereira after their skate, the roller coaster of emotions before we step on the ice and then while we're on the ice and throughout the program. We're just really proud of how we handled all of it. We skated our hearts out there and left it all out there, and I think it was shown. And as you mentioned, the 4th place for Stephen Gogalev, the best by Canadian man at the World Championship since Patrick Chan won his straight world title in 2013. Quote, I think it was quite a good week, especially setting a personal best. I'm really happy to end the season this way. And in women's singles, Madeline Skizas finished 15th overall, saying, quote, today was a little disappointing, but I'm happy with being done with my season. I really pushed through the whole season, and I think you can see that we're all a little bit ready for a break right now. So I'm happy with how I managed the last 3 weeks to skate pretty well today. And since they are Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier, everybody knows what they look like, but here is Leah Pereira and Trent Michaud over here. Get used to looking at those faces because we may see a lot of them in the coming years, giving this absolutely wonderful performance on their part. Let's see what else, if there's anything additional here. So this says here, they started the event with a personal best short program score of 75.52, skating even better than they did during their Olympic debut, where they also placed 3rd in the short program. Quote, we took a lot of confidence from that, Michaud said in reference to what they learned from their Olympic experience. As an elite athlete, you want to be able to step on the ice and do the best you absolutely can the very first time. But having the experiences at the Olympics, skating 8 programs at the Olympics, and then taking that from here into this helped us be able to perform the way we wanted to today. Knowing that if we focused on ourselves and what we could do, we could achieve what we wanted to, and we've done that today. So it's pretty cool. At the time, at the Olympic Games, Pereira and Michaud dropped back to 8th place overall. Sorry, I thought it was 9th after the free skate. But this time, with the World Championship podium in their sights, they were able to earn a personal best in the free skate as well. They scored 140.57, 6 points higher than their previous best, which was set during the Olympic team event. The only notable error in the program was Michaud putting his free foot down on the landing on their side-by-side triple salchows. Just as importantly, they achieved level 4 on all of their lifts, their triple twist, and their pair spin, while their death spiral was at a level 3. Pereira and Michaud actually finished 2nd behind only the Germans in the free skate, but the Georgians had a buffer of almost 4 points on the Canadians after the short program, which kept them ahead of Pereira and Michaud overall. Canada's 2nd pair team, Kelly Ann Lorrain and Lucas Etier, placed 19th. So there you go, kids and cubs. Some great performances from our figure skating team, and 2 medals coming back from the World Championships. A silver in ice dance, could possibly be last competition for Gillis and Poirier. They haven't officially announced that they would be retiring, but a lot of people are expecting that they might. Maybe they'll stay around for another season or 2. Who knows? And of course, like I said, Pereira and Michaud picking up their first one, and then Gogalev very, very close with the 4th place finish in the men's singles. So it seems that the rebuilding that we have been doing over the past few years is starting to pay off. And that's all I have for you today, kids and cubs. So I will say amour et bisous, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.